House of the Dragon Season 3 is shaping up to be the biggest chapter of the Dance of the Dragons yet. After 2 seasons of political intrigue, betrayals, shocking deaths, and dragon battles, the war between Team Black and Team Green is no longer a looming threat. It has officially begun. Season 2 ended with Westeros standing on the edge of total destruction. Alliances were formed, armies were mobilized, and dragons prepared for war. Now, as we get closer to Season 3, there's a lot to remember, and even more to expect. In this video, we'll break down everything you need to know before House of the Dragon Season 3 begins. We'll recap the current state of the war, examine where every major character stands, look at the dragons that will dominate the battlefield, and discuss the major events from George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood that could finally appear on screen. Let's begin with the state of the realm. At the end of Season 2, the conflict known as the Dance of the Dragons had escalated beyond political disputes. What started as a succession crisis after the death of King Viserys Targaryen has become a full-scale civil war. On one side stands Queen Rhaenyra Targaryen and Team Black. Supported by Dragonstone, House Velaryon, and several powerful lords across Westeros, Rhaenyra continues to claim that she is the rightful ruler of the Seven Kingdoms. On the other side stands King Aegon II and Team Green. Backed by Alicent Hightower, Sir Criston Cole, and the influence of Old Town, the Greens control King's Landing and still occupy the Iron Throne. The most important thing to understand before Season 3 is that neither side can win quickly. Both factions possess dragons, armies, wealth, and political influence. This is exactly what makes the Dance of the Dragons so devastating. Unlike previous conflicts in Westerosi history, both sides belong to the same family. The Targaryens are not fighting foreign invaders. They are destroying themselves. One of the biggest developments from Season 2 was Rhaenyra's growing confidence as a wartime leader. Throughout much of Season 1 and early Season 2, she often appeared cautious and hesitant. But after losing her son, Lucerys, and witnessing the escalation of violence, she has become increasingly determined. By the time Season 3 begins, Rhaenyra will likely be more aggressive than ever. Her supporters now expect decisive action. Many believe the time for diplomacy has ended. Meanwhile, Daemon Targaryen remains one of the most unpredictable players in the war. His experiences at Harrenhal introduced some of the strangest and most mysterious moments in the series. Whether those visions were supernatural, psychological, or prophetic remains unclear. What is clear, however, is that Daemon continues to be one of Team Black's greatest weapons. Riding Caraxes, one of the deadliest dragons alive, Daemon represents a threat that the Greens cannot ignore. Speaking of dragons, Season 3 could feature more dragon action than any previous season. Vhagar remains the largest and most terrifying dragon in the world. Despite her age, she continues to dominate the battlefield. Under the command of Prince Aemond, Vhagar has already proven capable of changing the course of the war almost single-handedly. Aemond himself has become arguably the most dangerous member of Team Green. Intelligent, ruthless, and driven by personal ambition, he increasingly resembles the kind of warrior many expected Daemon to become. Many fans believe that Season 3 will place Aemond at the center of several major storylines. His decisions could determine the future of House Targaryen. Another major factor heading into Season 3 is the rise of the Dragon Seeds. During Season 2, several individuals of Valyrian ancestry successfully bonded with dragons. This dramatically changed the balance of power. Suddenly, dragons that had remained riderless for years now have new masters. Characters like Hugh Hammer, Ulf White, and Adam of Hull are expected to play critical roles moving forward. At first glance, these new riders appear to strengthen Team Black. However, Readers of Fire and Blood know that loyalty can be a dangerous thing during civil war. One of the most anticipated events that could appear in Season 3 is the Battle of the Gullet. Without revealing too much, this battle is widely considered one of the largest naval engagements in Westerosi history. It combines fleets, dragons, political consequences, and devastating losses. If adapted faithfully, it could become one of the most spectacular episodes ever produced in the Game of Thrones universe. Another storyline fans are eagerly awaiting involves King's Landing itself. For 2 seasons, the city has remained under Green control, but the situation is becoming increasingly unstable. Public opinion is shifting, resources are limited, and political divisions continue to grow. The question is no longer whether King's Landing will become a battlefield. The question is who will control it when the dust settles. We should also discuss Alicent Hightower. Few characters have experienced a more complicated journey throughout House of the Dragon. Once driven by duty and loyalty to her family, Alicent now finds herself trapped between personal regret and political necessity. Season 3 may explore the consequences of her earlier decisions more deeply than ever before. Then there is King Aegon II. After suffering severe injuries, his future remains uncertain. Yet history suggests that Aegon still has an important role to play in the conflict. Whether he emerges stronger, weaker, or more desperate remains to be seen. One thing is certain: the war is far from over. Another major question concerns the fate of House Velaryon. Corlys Velaryon has spent years building one of the most powerful fleets in Westeros. His support remains essential to Rhaenyra's cause. However, the losses endured by his family have been immense. Season 3 will likely test the loyalty, endurance, and political influence of House Velaryon more than ever before. And then there are the dragons themselves. Syrax, Caraxes, Vermithor, Silverwing, Seasmoke, Moondancer, Tessarion, Dreamfire, and Vhagar all remain potential game changers. Every dragon battle carries enormous consequences. Unlike soldiers, dragons cannot easily be replaced. Every loss permanently shifts the balance of power. This is one reason the Dance of the Dragons becomes such a tragedy. The war is not only destroying a family, it is destroying the dragons that made House Targaryen powerful in the first place. Looking ahead, Season 3 could mark the turning point of the entire story. The first 2 seasons largely focused on building tensions and establishing rival factions. Season 3 is where many of the most famous events from Fire and Blood are expected to occur. Massive battles, betrayals, political upheavals, shocking deaths, and unforgettable dragon confrontations may finally arrive. And if the source material is any indication, viewers should prepare themselves for heartbreaking losses. The Dance of the Dragons is often remembered as one of the darkest periods in Westerosi history. By the time the conflict ends, very few participants escape unchanged. That is what makes Season 3 so exciting. We're no longer watching the beginning of the war. We're about to witness its most destructive phase. Whether you're rooting for Team Black, Team Green, or simply here for the dragons, one thing is clear. House of the Dragon Season 3 has the potential to become the biggest season the franchise has ever produced. The pieces are in place. The dragons are ready. And the Dance of the Dragons is only just beginning. Now that we've covered where every major faction stands, let's talk about what could happen next. If House of the Dragon continues to follow the events of Fire and Blood, Season 3 may contain some of the most shocking moments ever seen in the Game of Thrones universe. One of the biggest reasons fans are excited is the scale of the upcoming conflict. Until now, most of the war has happened in preparation. Armies have been gathering, alliances have been formed, dragons have been claimed. But Season 3 is expected to move beyond preparation and into open warfare. For the first time, multiple dragon riders may be forced into direct military campaigns across Westeros. and that's where things become truly dangerous. The biggest advantage of House Targaryen has always been dragons. But during the Dance of the Dragons, that advantage becomes a curse. When one side has dragons, victory is almost guaranteed. When both sides have dragons, entire cities can burn. One event many fans are waiting for is the Battle of the Gullet. Without spoiling too much, this conflict has the potential to become one of the most expensive and visually impressive episodes HBO has ever produced. The battle combines naval warfare, dragons, political consequences, and devastating casualties. Unlike many battles in Game of Thrones, this isn't simply about territory. The outcome could reshape the entire balance of power. And unfortunately for many characters, not everyone will survive. Another storyline that could dominate Season 3 is the struggle for King's Landing. For years, the city has served as the center of political power in Westeros. Whoever controls King's Landing controls the Iron Throne. But maintaining control is becoming increasingly difficult. The people are frustrated, the nobility are divided, and fear continues to spread throughout the realm. If Rhaenyra eventually moves against the capital, it could trigger one of the most dramatic turning points in the series. For Team Black supporters, this may finally appear to be the moment they've been waiting for. But as Game of Thrones fans know, apparent victories often come with devastating costs. Then we have Daemon Targaryen. Perhaps no character embodies the spirit of the Dance of the Dragons more than Daemon. He is brave, reckless, ambitious, charismatic, and incredibly dangerous. Throughout the series, Daemon has repeatedly shown that he is willing to take risks others would never consider. That makes him one of the most effective warriors in Westeros. It also makes him one of the most unpredictable. As the war intensifies, Daemon's decisions could alter the course of history. Many readers of Fire and Blood consider some of his future actions among the most legendary moments in Targaryen history. And if those moments are adapted properly, they could become iconic television scenes. Then there is Prince Aemond. If Daemon represents chaos, Aemond represents calculated destruction. Throughout Season 2, Aemond emerged as one of the strongest and most compelling characters in the story. His confidence continues to grow. His military influence continues to expand. And perhaps most importantly, he rides Vhagar, the largest dragon alive. Whenever Aemond enters a battlefield, the stakes immediately change. Entire armies must reconsider their plans. Cities become vulnerable. Even experienced dragon riders must think twice before challenging him. This growing rivalry between Daemon and Aemond is one of the most important storylines heading into Season 3. Fans have been anticipating a confrontation between these two characters for years. And if HBO follows the source material, that confrontation could become one of the greatest moments in fantasy television history. But the war isn't only about famous Targaryens. Season 3 is also expected to explore the growing importance of the dragon seeds. These new dragon riders have already transformed the balance of power. For Team Black, they appear to be a massive advantage. More riders means more dragons. More dragons means greater military strength, at least in theory. The problem is that dragons can be controlled. People cannot. History has repeatedly shown that loyalty is fragile during civil war. As power grows, ambition often grows with it. And some of the dragon seeds may eventually face difficult choices about where their loyalties truly belong. This creates one of the most fascinating themes of the Dance of the Dragons. The war isn't simply about good versus evil. Every faction contains heroes. Every faction contains villains. And every faction contains people who believe they are doing the right thing. That moral complexity is one reason House of the Dragon feels different from many fantasy series. There are no easy answers. There are only consequences. Another major topic heading into Season 3 is the future of the dragons themselves. When Game of Thrones began, dragons were nearly extinct. House of the Dragon shows us why. The Dance of the Dragons represents the beginning of the end. Every battle weakens the species. Every loss becomes irreversible. Some of the most powerful dragons in history are currently alive during this era. Vhagar, Caraxes, Vermithor, Silverwing, Dreamfire, Sea Smoke, yet many of them are heading toward conflict, and dragons were never meant to fight each other. Their true purpose was conquest, not civil war. This tragic reality hangs over every major event in the story. The Targaryens built an empire using dragons. Now they are destroying that empire with the very same creatures. As we move deeper into the war, viewers should expect the emotional stakes to become even higher. Families will be divided. Friendships will be broken. Characters who survived the first 2 seasons may suddenly find themselves in extreme danger. And unlike many fantasy stories, House of the Dragon rarely protects its major characters. Anyone can fall. No one is truly safe. This uncertainty is part of what makes the series so compelling. Every episode feels important. Every decision matters. Every victory comes with a price. And by the end of Season 3, Westeros may look completely different from the world we know today. The alliances that currently exist may collapse. New leaders may rise. Entire houses may lose everything. The political map of the 7 kingdoms could be permanently altered, and that's why this season is so important. Season 1 introduced the characters. Season 2 started the war. Season 3 may define the legacy of the Dance of the Dragons itself. Whether you're a longtime reader of Fire and Blood or a viewer experiencing the story for the first time, there has never been a better moment to jump into House of the Dragon. The pieces are finally moving. The dragons are taking flight. And the bloodiest chapter of Targaryen history is about to begin. The question isn't who will win. The real question is how much of Westeros will survive when it's over. Every major character explained before Season 3. Before diving into Season 3, it's crucial to understand where every major character stands. Each Targaryen, each key ally, and every dragon rider has a role that could drastically alter the course of the war. Let's break them down one by one. Rhaenyra Targaryen. The Black Queen Rhaenyra has transformed from a hesitant heir to a decisive war leader. By the end of Season 2, she had proven herself both politically savvy and unafraid of battle. Her leadership is being tested constantly, as she must balance her role as a mother, a claimant to the Iron Throne, and a commander of dragons. Expect Season 3 to push her morality and decision-making to the limit, with her every choice potentially causing massive consequences for Westeros. Daemon Targaryen, the Rogue Prince. Daemon is unpredictable. A brilliant strategist, fierce fighter, and bold dragon rider, he thrives in chaos. Yet his personal desires often conflict with the strategic needs of Team Black. His love-hate relationship with Rhaenyra adds tension, and the upcoming season may force him to make choices that test loyalties and allegiances like never before. Aemond Targaryen, the Dragon Prince. Aemond's ruthlessness defines Team Green's military strength. Riding Vhagar, his enormous dragon, he can alter the course of any battlefield. While he appears confident, his drive for power and vengeance could blind him to danger, making him vulnerable to strategic traps set by his enemies. Viewers can expect several direct confrontations with Daemon this season. Alicent Hightower, the Queen of Shadows. Alicent's role has evolved from loyal wife to a political player facing the consequences of her decisions. The public backlash, personal losses, and political maneuvering all contribute to a complex, multidimensional character whose choices could tilt the balance of power. Season 3 might explore her internal struggles more than ever, highlighting the human cost of political ambition. King Aegon II, Targaryen. Despite injuries and setbacks, Aegon II remains a crucial figure in Team Green. His physical state may limit him on the battlefield, But politically, he still commands influence over the Seven Kingdoms. His survival and actions in the upcoming season will be pivotal to both the war and the eventual outcome of the Dance of the Dragons. Corlys Velaryon, the Sea Snake. Corlys continues to be a cornerstone for Rhaenyra's claim. His naval power and resources are unmatched, and his experience in warfare gives Team Black a strategic advantage. Yet, personal losses and family pressures may challenge his resolve. Season 3 could show Corlys making choices that are morally ambiguous, testing his loyalty and ambitions. Jacaerys, Jace, Lucerys, Luke, and Joffrey Velaryon. The older generation of dragon riders, especially Rhaenyra's sons, are now maturing and taking more active roles in the war. Their bravery is unquestionable, but their inexperience could result in miscalculations. Season 3 will likely explore their development as young leaders who must prove themselves while navigating the complexities of war. Baela and Rhaenyra Targaryen. These young dragon riders add an element of unpredictability. Their loyalty, bravery, and recklessness could tip the scales in crucial battles. Season 3 may give them critical moments that could change the course of conflicts, showing that even secondary characters can have major impacts. Dragon Seeds. Several new riders now command dragons previously unclaimed, altering the power dynamics of the war. Their loyalties are still being tested, and their decisions may swing the outcomes of key battles. This season will likely highlight their individual arcs, giving depth to the broader Targaryen conflict. Dragons themselves. Never forget, the dragons are characters in their own right. Every decision made by a rider affects not just the battle, but the survival of these ancient creatures. Vhagar, Caraxes, Syrax, Vermithor, Silverwing, Seasmoke, Dreamfire, and Moondancer will dominate skies and hearts, becoming central to the narrative. Each loss, each victory in dragon combat, shifts the balance of power dramatically. As Season 3 begins, understanding where each character stands provides essential context. Alliances will fracture, battles will escalate, and even the strongest personalities may face tragic outcomes. The Dance of the Dragons is no longer about preparation or posturing. It is about survival, dominance, and the devastating consequences of civil war. By keeping these characters in mind, viewers can fully appreciate the intricacies of Season 3. From the most powerful dragons to the youngest dragon seeds, each element plays a part in shaping the future of Westeros. The pieces are all set. The dragons are ready to fly. The kingdoms are on the brink of destruction, and every major character is poised to define the most intense season of House of the Dragon yet.